Hi, I'm Sarah Luscombe from Luscombe Co-Lettings in Newport. And as I mentioned previously, I've been buying properties in Newport for over 20 years. Now, lots of landlords always ask me, should I wait to buy the next Newport buy-to-let investment? Or is it a good time now? Now, there's a couple of things I want to go through in this video and factors I consider when I'm buying investment properties. And I just thought I'd pass that on to you now because everyone needs a bit of help, a bit of knowledge in these uncertain times. So in this short video, I'm going to go through a few points. I'm going to go through the 4 factors that you should consider when you're buying an investment property. I'm going to look at the Newport rental market, which is important. Also, how Newport ranks compared to other postcodes and what the yields are looking like. And also how to increase that yield and what to look for in certain types of properties. So first of all, the 4 factors that you need to look at is consider the strength of your financial future. Can you afford this buy-to-let investment? Have you looked at your bottom line? Have you looked at if you could make the payments if there was no one in the property and there was a void period? So you've got to have a good financial foundation for yourself. So do a cash flow on yourself, your income, expenses, and see exactly what is your bottom line. The second thing is your credit score. I can't emphasize enough how important this is. Check your credit score, make sure it's good. There might be some things you can tweak, change to increase it. Because without a good credit score, you don't get the good finance, which is important. So look at that. The other thing is obviously the property market. Investigate that, investigate where you're going to buy and your investments. And then lastly, the mortgage market. What are the current interest rates? What deals can you get out there? What is the finance like? So when all those factors are put together, then you've got a good solid foundation to start your buy-to-let investments. So now let's look at some data to back up these facts. And I'm going to share my screen with you and show you the capital growth of Newport pre-COVID. So this is from May 2015 up till May 2020. So you can see that there's a steady increase in the Newport market over this 5-year growth period. And pre-COVID, it was quite a balanced market in Newport. And so it's always important to look at these factors when you're buying an investment property. You need to look at capital appreciation and also cash flow, what you can generate from the property. And these are the important factors you need to look at, because interest rates are a record low, meaning borrowing is really cheap at the moment. So now it might be a good time to buy and your cost of your purchase might be lower. But also, will property values fall in the Newport area as well? But what happens then sometimes if property values fall, then also finance dries up. So you've got to get a balanced opinion of whether you think it's a good time to buy or not, and taking all these factors and these considerations. So now I'm going to go through with you a few more things of how the Newport market looked and in yields and how it compares to the rest of the country. So this is showing you some data that I pulled quite recently for Newport MP19 area. And you can see I pulled it there point before COVID, before March in February, to see what the rentals were like, 145 average rent, down to 138 average rent. So you can see there was only a slight decrease of 7, which is not too bad considering all the country's in a bit of turmoil at the moment. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that you need to look at where we are in the yields in the country. So based on a postcode search of 1,593 postcodes that I drew down, W1, Central London, came in at an average yield of 1.4%. So what does that mean for Newport? Where does Newport lie? If that's the lowest, how is Newport looking? So Newport, the MP19 postcode and the MP20 postcode came out fairly well. Now MP19 came out at average 4.2% yield, which is in the top 75% of the postcodes. Whereas MP20 slightly lower at 3.9%, but still very good at 64%. So on this little graph here, you can see this is where the 4.2% MP19 postcode sits. This is the lowest yields, and this is the highest yields of the postcodes we searched. So you can see it's coming out fairly strongly compared to the rest of the country. Now it's always good and interesting to know what the highest yield was, and that was Bradford at 10.3%. But there are things you can do to tweak this and to get your yield up. So first of all, it's knowing what the yield is, and then to obviously increase that by the type of property you buy. So this is looking now at what do one beds come at, what do two beds, three beds. And this is the data you need to analyse. So one bed is coming out higher than the average. So maybe you want to consider looking at some of that. Then also, do you look at older houses versus established houses? And you can see that this is the pricing. The red line is showing established properties, and you can see that newly built properties are a lot more expensive. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you buy a new build, you're going to get sort of double the rent that you would have for an older property. So that's another factor that can push the yields up. You see the price of a new build here, an average, compared to an established property. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that the rents will increase that much. So these are the factors that I always look at when I'm buying properties. But then one of the most important factors as well is average price per square foot, because you can't really sort of look at a one bed in one area compared to another one bed in another area. They're just not similar, but you can look at the size of it and the square footage. So these are some of the figures that I always look at when I'm looking to buy my next buy-to-let investment, and should I buy another one in Newport Market. And so let's have a little recap of what you need to do. You need to look at your financial position, make sure it's strong, you have a good foundation. You need to look at the mortgage market, you need to look at the property market, and look at the interest rates and your credit score. Then also look at the yields in the area and compare them to elsewhere, and how you can increase your yields and what type of property, be it established properties, new properties, one beds, two beds, three beds. So all these factors help me decide whether I should buy my next investment property in the Newport area. And I hope that's helped you to have a clearer picture of what you need to be looking at in these current times. Thank you.